Number one, buying what you want. Now, I never knew people did this until Candace Owens said she did this like 4 or 5 years ago. And I have nothing wrong with her doing this because I'm sure she has her debt paid off. She makes enough money. She can do whatever she darn well.
And that's the point. Pleases. If you have your debt paid off, you can buy whatever you want.
And she was not complaining about grocery bills or anything. She just was talking about how she just every day, now she may not now that she has a kid, but every day after work, she would just go to the grocery store and see what she felt like eating for the day. What? People actually do that?
A lot do.
Apparently they do.
And
I did not know
we
this.
Love Candace.
Yeah,
really...
this is nothing against her.
No,
I'm just
we
saying
love her.
This is the first time that I had ever heard of anybody doing that. I guess I'm just sheltered, but I guess a lot of people just go right after work.
Especially if they're a couple, just the two of them, and they're making, you know, they can afford to. They usually just stop by the store on their way home and decide.
I never did that.
Yeah, but you never had a whole lot of money before the kids came along.
I guess not.
So
anyway, number one is stop buying what you want at the grocery store. Eat what's on sale. If chicken breasts are on sale this week, then buy some for this week and buy some to stock up. If it's pork chops that are on sale this week, buy some and then buy some to stock up. So buy what's on sale. Okay, now this is a biggie. Pay attention to the prices. I do not know how many times the shelf says one thing and then I get up to the register and it's not the same. Now, I don't know if I just have a photographic memory or whatever, but I take note of the prices and then I watch as it's being scanned, especially the clearance and markdown stuff. And if I find something on clearance, I take a picture of the price now, almost every time. Like after Halloween, when it was 90% off, I took a picture of everything that I bought and I was still there 45 minutes in line, then fixing all the prices. But I saved like $600.
mm-hmm.
So it was way worth it.
It happened to me this morning. I ran in just to get 2 things this morning for the boys, and I saw the price and I made sure when I picked it up, it was on sale, and I looked at the tag and that's what it said. And I had trouble as soon as I got to the cash register. Finally found it in the ad, but she couldn't get the cash register to do what it was supposed to. So
yeah. So pay attention. And like Saturday, I went to go get some. I went to the Restore in Cheyenne and was looking for something else and found some stain, and I got up there and this was my fault. I had been up since 6 o'clock shopping in Cheyenne. For us, that's the big city. And I was just like, oh, I just want to get out of here. And the price was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I just took it because I was like, okay, the stain matches. I've been looking all over for the stain. It matches. I'm just going to take it. But I should have argued with them and spent the 5 minutes walking back, taking a picture. I didn't do it. And I only saved myself $1, which I could have saved myself a whole lot more than that. So I was a little mad at myself. So make sure you check your prices.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. The bulk size, the bigger can of oatmeal may not be cheaper than the smaller can of oatmeal.
Yeah, and you need to really do some calculating when you see these things and you're debating on getting the bigger can or the smaller can, because sometimes, I've mentioned this before, but the price may be 5 cents, 10 cents cheaper is all. And if you're not going to use that bigger one up right away, then I would go with the smaller one, because it's like you're throwing a whole half a jar away and you're wasting half the money then instead of just the 5 or 10 cents.
Yep. And also food spoiling faster. So once that container's open, it spoils faster if it's a big one and you don't use it as much than if it's a little one. So I always, if it's the same price or less, or even if it's a few cents more, like if it's like 10 or 20 cents less, I won't get the big one. I'll get the little one, because it's not worth me opening a big container of oatmeal versus a small container of oatmeal now that I only have 2 kids at home.
And it won't stay fresh as long. And that's for your prepping stuff too. I always get the small cans because you may not have refrigeration and you may have to eat that stuff within 1 day's time or 2 at the most. So it really saves you in the long run to buy the smaller stuff.
Number 4, generic is not always cheaper.
Yeah. Again, today I had to run in and get mustard, and I started just to grab up the off-brand. For some reason, I stopped and I looked, and the name brand was the same. Well, actually, it was a couple cents less than the generic. So always double check it.
Yep. Next one is not buying food marked down or on clearance. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, well, I ain't going to buy spoiled food. It's not spoiled. The store, a lot of times the store will buy more food than they need. And so like today, it was Super Bowl Sunday yesterday. Today, they may be marking down things like chips and dips
Mhm.
and things like that if they bought too many and they didn't sell enough over Super Bowl. Memorial Day, they always mark down ribs and hamburger.
Hot dogs.
Thanksgiving, turkeys, Christmas, hams. I always get them on clearance. And so, yeah.
And like tomorrow's Valentine's, so on Wednesday you can count on most of the flowers that are left over, and things like that are going to be,
Yeah.
you know.
And Wanda wants to know, is store brand and generic the same? Yes, they're interchangeable now. So yeah.
I've only come across maybe 3 or 4 things in all the years that there's been a whole lot of flavor difference, but it's worth it to try it the first time, because then it eventually could save you a lot if you like it.
So when you see meat on clearance at Walmart, buy it and throw it in your
yeah.
freezer. You still have 3 to 5 days. Tomorrow after Valentine's Day, we're going to be heading to Walmart to see what they have 50% off if there's any chocolate left, and getting that marked down 50, 75% versus buying it full price. But you have to be careful. I am noticing now that the seasonal items are actually more expensive, even 50% off, than just buying it regular.
Mhm.
So I did a comparison the other day for Christmas, and it was actually the same price to buy chocolate on clearance versus regular after Christmas.
Wow.
It wasn't any cheaper doing it that way when you compare ounce for ounce. So look at ounce
And you
for
hear a
ounce.
theme here. You have to know your prices and don't panic. You can learn them. After a while, just start out with a few. You'll get used to it.
And Michael put a link in there for our price book. That's how I started off, was following in my price book. You can just print it off. It's a digital download, but you can just print it off and keep it with you. And then that will help you keep track of your prices. And then after a while, you just get it memorized. Like, I know when I see chicken for less than $1.50 a pound now, boneless, skinless chicken, I stock up.
When I see a candy bar for 50 cents a bar, I stock up, so I know.
Real food. This is the next thing you should be
I
buying,
like to
and
drive
not
my
junk
daughter
food.
crazy.
So anyway, and also on clearance, look for regular foods on clearance.
Oh yeah.
Like tomorrow, they're going to have all their Valentine's Rice
Krispies
Krispies
and Fruit Loops and
Lucky Charms. I think what was there? Valentine Lucky Charms or something? I can't remember.
Mhm.
There was a couple of cereals. All of those are going to be in clearance.
yeah.
And I got cereal for the family size after Halloween for 50 cents a box. So that's pretty darn tootin' good. The next one is filling your cart with drinks.
We talked
Go
about
ahead,
this
Mother.
the other day. Well, once again, check your grocery bill. You probably spend at least 1/3 of that grocery bill. So in other words, if you spend $600 a month for groceries, probably $200 of that is for drinks. This is one of my pet peeves, because what we do now is, it used to be you would take a drink of water when you were thirsty. Now we quench our thirst with coffee, tea, juice, milk, and pop, you know, all those types of things. And we blame obesity and everything on processed foods and this type of thing and that type of thing. I don't think people are looking really at the real problem, you know.
Stop drinking your calories.
Even the healthy stuff, milk and juice. I looked up some, I forget what it was. It was a substitute for milk, one of those oats or almond or something. They were higher in calories than regular milk. And I'm thinking, how many people don't realize that? And they think this is healthy for me and I'm going to chug-a-lug it. And milk can be really in and of itself high calorie, you know. So
and stop just drinking things like milk and juice thinking that you're getting all these nutrients. You're not. After a cup or two, you really don't get any extra
You're just getting
nutrients.
extra calories on these things. And so watch your kids, you know, they don't need a 12-ounce glass of milk or a 12-ounce glass of juice. Don't let the teenage boys come in there and chug-a-lug a jug of juice, because people think, oh, they're getting healthy, good stuff. Let them drink some water, and that'll be just as good for them.
Yep. Pay attention. Go ahead, Mother.
Oh, go ahead, Mother. Well, this too, Tara was mentioning this a little bit earlier. You need to start paying attention when you go to the grocery store. I learned a long time ago that I wanted to stay home. And so I had to make sure that I was making enough money by staying home than I would be going to work. You need to treat your personal finances and your grocery shopping like a business. You've got to get serious about it. Nobody's serious about this anymore. People used to be so desperate and tight for money. They were very careful when they went to the grocery store and with their food, and people don't have to be. They just have their credit card and they just buy whatever they want. You're on the phone talking, the kids are jumping around, you're hollering at them, and you're talking on the phone, and you're grabbing stuff off the shelf. You have got to treat this like a business and get serious, because if you think about it, you're in that store maybe 45 minutes, an hour at the tops, you know, and if you can save $50 on a family of 4 on that 1 week's worth of shopping, you have now earned $50. You see what I'm saying? By being careful and checking out all these tips that we're giving you. So get more serious about it. Stop just going in and say, oh, I got to run in the grocery store and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab that. Get serious about your money, your personal money. I mean, what if you treated going to your job each morning the way you treated going to the grocery store, and you walk in and you think, oh, I don't want to take any phone calls today. I just want to chit chat or play a game on my phone, you know, and the phone's ringing. I don't want to talk to customers, you know, no big deal. You wouldn't make any money. You know, you're supposed to do a good job and put in a good, that's what you're doing at that moment is your job at work, and you should concentrate on it and do a good job. When you go to the grocery store, make it a good job. You're not going to get paid for a sloppy job. And so, you know, you got to think of this more seriously.
Tell your kids no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even know this was a problem either, because my kids never got anything. I did not buy my children anything at the store. Never. You can ask them. I'm a mean and cruel mother, but when we went grocery shopping, they didn't ask for stuff at the cash register. They didn't ask for toys at the toy department. They didn't ask for Pop-Tarts. Why? Because they knew that we only got those for special occasions. And that's the only time they ever got those was special occasions. And so I didn't realize what a problem this is. And yeah, don't take your kids and husband to the store. Yeah. But at the same time, your kids need to be trained. They're not going to get something every time you go to the store.
Well, all I did when the kids asked for it the first time I took them was no, you know, no. You really can't say that to your kids, you know. And if you're having problems with them throwing a temper tantrum or a fit over something, you just park your basket, quietly take them out to the car and have whatever kind of discussion you think you need to have with them, and say, this is not the way we're going to do it, you know. And you just need to do that once or twice, and you don't have trouble anymore. But what happens is you get them in the habit of, okay, I got a candy bar this time. Well, next time you go to the store, they're going to beg. If you go down the toy aisle, they're going to want a doll. And kids don't have a concept of money. Why can't they get the doll instead of the candy bar this week? So then they get mad because they don't understand. You get mad at them thinking they're just not obeying you, but you started this habit. You're the parent. You're responsible. If they're doing this, it's because of you. Stop blaming your kids. Well, my kids always want something. No, you're the one that's allowed them to have something. So parents have got to step up to the plate. I'm sorry. Parents are so afraid in this day and age that, well, they're not going to like me if I tell them no. You know what?
Or what?
I told my kids no for years, and they're actually still,
how perfect we turned
angel
out.
that we are. They're still speaking to me. They actually are still speaking to me all those times I told them no. You're being selfish in that by not telling them no and teaching them that they can't have every single thing in life, because then when they grow up and the first crisis hits them, they lose a job or something else happens, they'll go to pieces. They really will. Yeah. We have so many people that are depressed, discouraged, and this, that, and the other, because their parents never said no to them, you know, and never taught them. You have to sometimes just suck it up, buttercup type thing.
Sometimes life stinks and then you die and that's it. Well, you know what? Sorry. That's the way it goes. All right, guys, this video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbooks, our gluten-free, dairy-free edition, and our Volume 1, Volume 2. If you want to save money on your grocery bill, we have everything in there. It is on sale now. Livingonadime.com. I am not exaggerating. We have homemade cleaners. I did not know cleaners was such a big cost. We're doing a video on this.
Oh, yeah. This is
one lady said that her friend or family or somebody spent $50 on cleaning supplies. I don't think I've spent $50 with the exception of laundry detergent.
Yeah, in my whole life.
In my entire life. I truly don't think I have. I'm like, how do you spend $50 for your entire life on cleaning products? So anyway, but yeah, so we even have cleaning products in our cookbooks and Bath and Beauty. Next one is don't stick to your list. Oh, I know that's a tip that every grocery shopping expert says, but they're not experts if they're telling you that. They are wrong. Why? Because you lose out on so many good deals if you stick to your list. You really do. And your problem isn't, people say, oh, well, I stick to my list so that I don't overspend. Your problem isn't the list. Your problem is you're just having a problem spending in general. And you just have to get your spending in general taken care of. I know that if I stuck to my list, I would not save near the amount of money on my grocery bill as if I didn't. So I always made sure that I had extra money available so that if I found deals, I could pick them up. Boneless, skinless chicken for $1.26 a pound. That is the same price as the chicken quarters. That's actually cheaper than the chicken quarters that you get at the grocery store for 69 cents a pound. It's actually cheaper to buy the boneless, skinless chicken breast for $1.29 a pound than to buy the bone-in quarters for 69 cents a pound, because the bone is half the weight of the meat. So that's how you can figure if bone-in or boneless is a cheaper deal. But if I stuck to my list, I wouldn't have got 50 pounds of chicken the other day for a really stinking good deal.
I do my list exactly what Tara is saying, but it's kind of backwards. What I do, the only list I ever have is what I've looked up that's on sale. And if I actually run out of something, I'll put it on a list. But that list, I don't even buy the stuff on that list that I run out of until I can get it for sale, or, you know where to get it very, very cheap. So you can have a sort of list, but it should be sale items. It should be from your sale ads. And that's the only type of list I have ever used. And once I got in the habit of doing that and sticking to that part of it, then, I don't make out a list and think, well, we should have this for dinner this week and that for dinner this week. And then I write out a list of the stuff I want to buy for those things. I look and see what's on sale and write down what's on sale and get, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I have my list of stuff that I need to buy.
Yeah. So she's
but
not
I
saying don't have a list.
But I don't just stick to my list. Like, this is all I'm buying at the store. Now, maybe if it's my last $5 or something, okay. But I made sure I never got to that point. I always made sure I had enough money that if I found something for a good deal, that I could stock up.
And like she says, if I don't have something on my list and I get to the store and it's on sale, then I buy it. So it's the same. We're talking about the same thing. I just didn't want you to think we just went there with nothing.
Do not go to the store hungry.
This is really, it's bigger than what you think, because twice since we moved here, just because I had to go at a certain time and this, that, and the other, like I'd leave Tara's and then maybe I'd stop on the way there. Oh my goodness, I caught myself buying stuff. And I got out of the store and I thought, I would never have bought this, but now I've got enough money now that I could do it if I wanted to. But, it just frustrated me to think that I went to the store hungry and I bought this stuff. And I should, especially, oh, guys, this is a double whammy. Do not take your husband and children and you all going to the store an hour before lunch. That's just like a no-brainer disaster waiting to happen. I can't even envision how bad that would be. If you take the husband and the kids, it can be pretty dangerous, but then you throw in them being hungry, it can just be off. It can be a nightmare. So once again, like a business, do you take your kids and your husband to work each day when you go to work? Can you imagine the free-for-all it would be at your office, taking all of them to work, and then they were getting hungry on top of that? Think this through like a business. If you can leave the kids and husbands at home, if possible. Now, I know some of you have really good shoppers for husbands, but most husbands and kids, they just don't quite have it down pat. So
go watch this video next. We will see you guys next time, livingonadime.com.